Easy in fact that Tahiti is crammed full of people getting away from it all. And to get away from them, we're off to the neighbouring, soon-to-be-ruined island paradise of Muur, which is pronounced by the locals as Muur. Of course, before the invention of the jet, people from the rest of the world did come to these islands. They just got here rather more slowly. We think we're very clever being able to get here in 21 hours from London, and I'm sure Captain Cook was jolly pleased with himself when he sailed here in just 7 months. Cook arrived in Tahiti in 1768 on his way to Australia. The locals gave him and his men food and shelter, and were rewarded with syphilis. As you can imagine, this went down very badly indeed, so when Cook dropped in on his way back home, they killed him. This is a breathtakingly beautiful part of the world. The mutiny on the Bounty had much to do with its crew not wanting to leave. It's only recently, though, that people other than empire builders, botanists and mutineers have been able to experience it for themselves.
Dependable double-deck luxury flying boat, positive mines of interesting information. You'll fly at sightseeing level by the scenic route.
The airport here opened in 1960 at about the same time the jet age started. And today, Tahiti is completely dependent on its annual delivered crop of 230,000 foreign tourists. But it's all wrong. Muur is an all-inclusive South Seas theme park. For a small supplement, you can swim with a dolphin in the hotel pool. It's paradise with a very small p indeed. Though I'm hardly taking the time to immerse myself in local culture either. Here today, gone tomorrow. Got a plane to catch. It's not just tourism that has been changed by the jet. Our diets have been transformed. Not long ago, a decent meal meant going abroad. Now the jet brings abroad to us. Tuna no longer comes only in tins, and mange tout are available all year round. Pointless things like kumquats and starfruit are common currency, thanks to the jet. Oh, and jets carry a huge amount of frozen horse semen too, for racehorse breeders. With all those dead fish, overweight tourists and equine sperm flying around the globe, there are lots of planes in the sky. Let me give you an idea of how many. For 3 days after the World Trade Center thing, all civil aviation was banned from American airspace. And in that short period of time, the weather actually changed. The days were 1 degree hotter, and the nights were 1 degree cooler. The vapor trails from jets form artificial clouds which hold in heat and raise ground temperatures. It's certainly got the environmentalists very het up, and jet proliferation has raised other concerns. That is a very big sky, but it isn't big enough. Collision. It happens rarely, but when it does, it's generally a news story. Like this crash in July 2002 between a Russian Tupolev and a Boeing 757 cargo plane. It's an even better news story, though, when it involves lots of people. Of course, Dying in a plane crash is hugely spectacular, partly because of the fireball and the horror, but mostly because it's so rare. Between 1990 and 1999, British Airlines carried 700 million passengers on 7 million flights, and not one of them died in a crash. That's a whole decade, and no one was killed. According to official government statistics, you are more likely to be killed by your trousers. Time to leave Tahiti. Apparently it's 6:30 in the morning, though as far as I'm concerned it could be 12-ish. My body clock is completely broken. This is the homeward leg, but there's 33 more hours of flying and 11 hours of sitting in airports. Now, the good thing about Tahiti's airport is that it's really not much more than a landing strip, so there's no 25-minute stroll to the gate. All I've done these past 3 or 4 days, or however long it's been, is sit in a chair. But you wouldn't believe how many ailments I've managed to pick up. I've got a pounding headache, my wrist hurts, my hip hurts, I've got skin like cardboard, I've got acne for the first time since I was 14. Also, I'm a middle-aged man, a little bit out of shape. And so as a result, I think it's likely that the veins in my legs will be full of lumps like space hoppers. Then there's the business of my fellow passengers who, well, they look a bit contagious. Before jet travel, it might have taken a new disease decades to cross the world. Now, it takes days. It was thanks to the jet that the SARS virus became a worldwide epidemic. Started in China and then reached Hong Kong, where infected passengers boarding international flights spread the disease internationally. Worldwide panic, all down to the jet. And SARS isn't that dangerous. If a seriously bad bug like Ebola ever finds its way onto an aircraft, then we really will have something to worry about. Auckland, New Zealand, one of my favourite places on earth. An old girlfriend of mine had the good sense to move here. But there's no time to visit, we're only stopping for a couple of hours. Didn't get very far. I am now completely bewildered. I don't know whether I want a glass of port or a plate of bacon and eggs. It was pouring with rain in New York, it was summer in Los Angeles, now it's the middle of winter in New Zealand, and Thursday never happened. Disappeared completely. And there's another thing too. Since I left England, 4 nights have happened there, but I've only seen 3 sunsets. I have to say, of all the inventions we're looking at in this series, the jet engine is the one that the human being has just not really adapted to at all. We just can't keep up with it. Well, I can't. I feel terrible. It's lucid as hell. And that's it. Farewell to New Zealand, a country which I love. But I'm on my way to Australia, which I sort of don't love at all. I don't believe it. Gate 1. Gate 1. Of course, I'm not flying from it. On this flight, I plan to see if technology can provide anything to make flying more bearable. There are a number of products on the market which are supposed to help with kind of the illnesses and the jet lag that you get on a plane. I've got this sort of squidgy exercise thing for my feet, which keeps the circulation going. I've got an ionizer around my neck. I've got this watch around my wrist, which gives me electric shocks from time to time. And you may have noticed I've got headphones on, which are cancelling out the noise of the plane. They're very good, actually. very good. It's very quiet in here. And then this peaked cap.